What's going on, Diggletdreamers? Mathers here with an Alolan Exeggutor Moveset Showcase. It's not Monday, but it's basically the same thing as Moveset Monday used to be. Don't know how frequently I'll be doing these, but definitely keep an eye out for more of these in the future, and I'll definitely let you know what's going on there. I've really wanted to find a way to use this monster, and I think I finally found something that at least kind of works. It's got a couple things going for it. It's got a lot of different recovery options in Leech Seed and Citrus Berry Harvest. Harvest, great ability. Lets it get a bunch of citrus berries, so it could possibly heal up with 2 citrus berries in one turn if that happens to be the case. Plus having the ability to put up a Leech Seed and being able to heal every turn as well. It really stacks up really nicely. On the offensive side, I decided to go with Swords Dance because that is, I think, the best boosting move that it gets. It might get Calm Mind, but does it get Calm Mind? I need to find out now. No, it doesn't look like it gets Calm Mind. So Swords Dance definitely its best boosting option, even though it's not its highest base stat. It does have a pretty high, not pretty high, but it has a decent attack stat, and Swords Dance definitely helps out with that. Wood Hammer being its main grass stab, main offensive move, and then Dragon Hammer also being stab, but being more of kind of a secondary move because Dragon doesn't really hit that much super effectively, obviously. Only hits other dragon types. Definitely this fourth move slot is definitely changeable. I thought about putting Substitute on there, but that seemed a little bit too evil for me. But it definitely could be done. I think Earthquake might actually be a slightly better offensive option, just because it does hit things like steel types, fire types, stuff like that. But to each their own. I just like having double hammers here, so I'll definitely try out the different sets though, because I think Earthquake is definitely a pretty solid one. The spread is pretty simple. I just went max attack, max HP. I want to get the highest attack stat that I possibly can. Speed isn't really worth investing in because it's not that fast. Maybe you could put the 4 in, maybe. Oh yeah, it should actually be 248, so you could put the 8 into speed, or the 8 into special defense, or defense, or whatever you want to do. You don't need special attack at all, so no need to invest in that. What else? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The Exeggutor definitely needs some support. I mean, obviously you don't want to try set up with this thing while there's still an ice type or something with an ice type coverage move coming around. Like Greninja is definitely a big threat for this thing. Does not want to take an ice beam, but that's why you build around it. Let me actually show you the team that I built around this thing. It's kind of a loose Sun team. It's not built around Sun entirely, but it definitely has a few Pokemon that can take advantage of it. Torkoal is the Sun setter with the Drought Heat Rock, make it last even longer. I went with a Shell Smash just for the fun of it. Not exactly the fun of it, but I think it's actually kind of useful if it gets the opportunity to Shell Smash, and then it can outspeed a few slower things. Maybe hit him with a Sun Boosted Fire Blast, maybe get off a quick Rapid Spin or a quick Will-O-Wisp if it needs to. I think that it can be really useful. Plus there's not that much that it really needs in that 4th slot. Like maybe you could put Earth Power, but we're not in Pokebank yet, so we don't have to bother with Heatrans, so I don't think it's that useful yet. Maybe once Pokebank is released, which I believe is in January, it could be useful. Stealth Rocky also, I tried to use that, but you can't have it without Pokebank, so no point yet. So I think at this point in the metagame, Shell Smash is probably one of the best options to go with. Also decided to go with a Restock Mudsdale, which is probably my favorite Mudsdale set so far. Resto Chesto also pretty great, but I recently have been really enjoying the Sleep Talk. I think it can put in a lot more work than the other one. I mean, they're both in the right situations, of course, but I've been having a lot of success with this set. Earthquake and Heavy Slam. Earthquake is your main stab, obviously. Heavy Slam is just, I think Mudsdale is just really heavy, and that's why Heavy Slam is really useful for this thing. I just went all out offensive with bulk. Obviously defense plus stamina is an ability, really helps it out. Anytime it takes a hit, it gets a defense boost, and special defense is not that great, but combined with the HP, it is actually helpful. And once again, I'm doing this terrible mistake. Let me actually double check that with Torkoal. Okay, I did fix that with Torkoal. Wait a minute, what is this? Oh my goodness, I hope I wasn't playing with this, but I probably was. Wait, I was supposed to be burst special defense. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I wanted this to be special defense. And, yeah, okay. Yeah, we're looking better. Also went with a Salazzle, a Focus Sash set with Nasty Plot, just to try to get something naturally fast that can take advantage of the sun. Definitely a great choice, I think. Really strong, fast Pokemon. It's just a solid choice, especially in the sun. Fire Blast hitting really hard, and then the Toxic as just a nice thing to take advantage of its ability, Corrosion, to be able to hit those Poison and Steel types with the Toxic if I need to, as well as anything else that isn't a Steel or Poison type that can also be hit with the Toxic. Alright, and then for the last two after Exeggutor, of course, decided to go with Tapu Lele, Choice Specs. I've tried out a Choice Scarf set recently, but I feel like it's been missing out on a lot of the power that this thing can use, so I decided to go with Specs this time. Speed isn't terrible, so it will still be kind of faster. But it'll just be hitting so hard, and that's exactly what I want out of this thing. Get up the Psychic Surge and just boost that Psychic stab to oblivion, and this is just something that really deals with opposing Toxapex, which is definitely something that the rest of the team kind of struggles with. Mudsdale can definitely take some type of Toxapexes on, especially ones that don't have Water Stab or are physical attackers, as I'll show you in a replay very shortly. Shadow Ball doesn't really hit that much anymore now that Aegislash is gone, but it's there. Thunderbolt also there, just in case I need to make some kind of prediction and try to hit potentially a Toxapex or something else. Like, I can't think of the exact situation, but if I can't go for Psychic, like if he has a Dark type and a Toxapex or something, then I want to go for Thunderbolt, and I don't want to go for Moonblast, obviously, because if he has a goes into Toxapex, so Thunderbolt would be the best option there. It's just it's probably not the one I'm going to be clicking most often, but it's good to have. And then the final Pokemon, I decided to go with a Choice Scarf Lycanroc. Lycanroc Midnight form, by the way. It's just a really cool Pokemon. I wanted a nice Choice Scarf physical attacker, because I don't really have, other than Exeggutor being my kind of win condition almost, I wanted something strong physical attacker to be able to hit hard. I guess these are kind of my wall breakers on the way. Not exactly, but Tapu Lele is definitely a wall breaker, but Lycanroc is more of a cleaner. If I get things weakened enough, he can just come in and click Stone Edge, and he doesn't have to worry about missing because of No Guard, which is really cool. And I think this thing could actually put in some work. I haven't actually, I'll show you the replay soon, but I think it's really cool, so I definitely want to give it a shot. Of course, just max speed, max attack. Decided to go Jolly, of course, because 82 base speed isn't that fast, so I think you'll need all the speed that you can get. Plus, Stone Edge is already hitting pretty hard with the base 115 attack as well, so I'm not really worried about how hard this thing is hitting right at the moment. Okay, so I do have two replays that I can show off. Here's the first one. I am, of course, on this side here, as you can tell by the Exeggutor that is just going ham. So let's get into this replay. I'll put it on normal just so I can try to keep up with things that are happening. I'm also going to take a quick swig of water just to give my throat a break. First things first, just at looking at his team, actually, I can tell that Exeggutor has no switch-ins on my opponent's side of the field. Mudsdale can also definitely put in a lot of work once the Greninja and the Toxapex are gone or weakened. And he also doesn't have a lot of switch-ins to like Tapu Lele or Salazzle or even Lycanroc. Like basically my entire team puts in a lot of work on this guy's team, which is really nice for me. So I decided to lead with my Torkoal just to get the sun up right away. He does lead Dugtrio, predicting that pretty nicely, but I know I can take an Earthquake, so I decided to just get the Will-O-Wisp off on this Dugtrio. I don't really do my Torkoal for the rest of his team, and getting this thing burned is really nice. It takes the pressure off of the rest of my Pokemon. So I can go right into Mudsdale and get that defense boost, just start putting pressure on him to either switch out, or which he does end up doing, into the Electros. I decided to go for Earthquake. I didn't feel like Electros was that much of a threat that I needed to predict it. So now I can then, of course, safely switch into my Exeggutor. But he does reveal the Acid Spray, which is kind of a problem for my Exeggutor. So I am going to have to try to make some plays here as he does go for the Acrobatics. I get my Citrus Berry, and I'm able to hit him with a nice strong Wood Hammer. Even unboosted, I do like 70%, 60%. And of course, in the Sun, Harvest gets the berry 100% of the time, which is why I decided to go with the Sun, as I probably should have mentioned. Mudsdale coming back out to take the Acrobatics and get the boost. He does keep going for the Acid Spray, does boost my defense, but also lowers my Special Defense, as Heavy Slam is doing a clean 25%, even though it's resisted, so Mudsdale, pretty heavy. But I am going to switch around with my Exeggutor here again, as he does predict that pretty nicely, going again for the Acid Spray. I wonder if that might be his only special attacking move, though, so he does hit me again. I'm able to live it. Gonna get my Leech Seed and miss, but I think I do not get my Citrus, so I am forced to switch in my Torkoal, get the Sun back up, as he is going to be able to hit me with the Acid Spray, and then finish me off with the Thunderbolt. So yeah, he does have the Thunderbolt. He just couldn't hit my Mudsdale with that, obviously, and it's not going to do much to my Exeggutor either. I decided to Revenge KO with my Salazzle here. Definitely a big threat for his side of the field. I decided not to risk it with the Dugtrio. I could have gone for Fire Blast, but it's not worth the risk. Not worth the risk when I know my Exeggutor can just come in and wall this thing. Get my Citrus in the Sun every time, so I'm not even worried a little bit. Even though he is going to flinch me a couple times here with Iron Head, I am gaining HP each turn with the Citrus Berry Harvest, because I'm getting it no matter what in the Sun, so it's not even like a 50% chance like normal. I know I'm going to get it, so I don't mind if he flinches me. He's going to keep doing that a little bit longer. I do manage to break through here and get my Leech Seed up, though, and that is going to be helping me gain a lot of HP. And I think at this point he does kind of realize that his efforts are fruitless, and he's just going to die to burn if he keeps going. So he decides to switch out into Klefki as I go for the Swords Dance. Now I could have predicted the Thunder Wave here and gone into my Mudsdale, but I didn't want to. I just wanted the Exeggutor to hit something really hard, and it does almost half to this Klefki with the Wood Hammer, but it is unfortunately not going to be able to do a KO, and down goes my Exeggutor to the foul play. Unfortunate, but that means I get to bring in my Mudsdale right here, and Thunder Wave is obviously not going to work. I'm not sure why he clicked it there. Maybe he was just sacking, but he could have gone for the foul play or something. I really don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was trying to predict a double. I don't know. But Greninja's going to come out. I'm actually able to take the Ice Beam pretty well, get the boost, and then knock him out with the Earthquake. That is the max attack Mudsdale right there. This thing is not a slouch when it comes to just attack power. Also able to take the Psychic, just barely, getting up to twice double defense, and KOing the Espeon with another Earthquake. Now here he could have gone into Dugtrio, but he decided to go Toxapex, so I'm able to actually outspeed it and get my rest off, as he does reveal the Liquidation, which means he is physical, which even though that's a crit, I'm still able to take it pretty well. He does get the defense drop though, so it kind of negates my stamina boost. Sleep Talk at first, I get Heavy Slam, which doesn't really help me, but he's not doing any damage with Liquidation, and he already got a crit, so what are the chances he's going to get another one? Goes for the Baneful Bunker, which I don't really mind because I have leftovers. I'm gaining HP even if he goes for the Baneful Bunker. And now I can just click Earthquake because I know I'm going to wake up. That's the end of my rest turns, as he sets me with a Poison Jab. I'm not sure why. And I think it's actually a speed tie there, so I actually got kind of lucky there with the first rest. But Earthquake is going to be definitely an easy to a KO, as he's just going to Baneful Bunker again. I kind of understand what he's doing here. He actually gets some Black Sludge recovery and then switches out here to get Regenerator, sacking his Dugtrio to the Earthquake. But at this point, I'm at +3 defense. I have several Pokemon in the back that can deal with this thing, namely the Tapu Lele, as Liquidation is going to do 10 as I get my stamina boost, but he also drops it again, so Earthquake is going to bring him down to a point where my opponent is just going to decide to keep his Toxapex alive and forfeit. So Rest Talk Mudsdale putting in a lot of work there. Definitely a great set that I want to show off. And then I do have this other replay here, which I will show off Alolan Exeggutor a little bit more. My opponent does have a pretty cool team, also packing a Salazzle with the Primarina, Mimikyu, Serena, Ribombee, and Alolan Raichu. Really cool team. Once again, not very easy for him to switch into a lot of my Pokemon. Salazzle, obviously, just clicks Sludge Wave on 90% of his team. Exeggutor just clicks Wood Hammer and smacks everything. So, also Tapu Lele and Lycanroc also just spam their signature moves and get a lot of work in. So let's just, I'm going to put it on normal and take another sip of water just so I don't run my throat dry. So he leads with the Serena, as I actually decided to lead with my Torkoal again. Just want to get that sun up as quickly as possible. I know I can take any hit from this thing, no problem, as I decided to go for the Will-O-Wisp. And no, not yet. Actually, go for the Fire Blast and actually burn the Primarina. That's what I was thinking. I get pretty lucky there with the burn, and I decided to switch out there into my Exeggutor, figuring he'd go for the Water type move, but he goes for the Light Screen instead. And then he hits me with a really strong Moon Blast, which I was kind of hoping he would switch out there, but I don't know why he would. Obviously, Moon Blast would help. But fortunately, I'm able to live it, and I get double Citrus Berry there. And of course, I'm forced to switch into my Salazzle, which is going to easily take the Moon Blast. It is quad resisted, and then I can easily revenge kill this Primarina with the Sludge Wave. Not revenge kill, I guess, but just KO it. And then the other Raichu is going to come out. I don't want to take a Psychic from this thing, so I decided to go back into my Exeggutor. This actually goes for the Agility, which I was not expecting. At this point, I thought he might try to Baton Pass, but he just goes for the Charge Beam, and now at this point, Baton Pass Claws will prevent him from Baton Passing, so I'm just going to set up a Leech Seed. He goes for another Charge Beam. Not really sure what his plan is at this point, but I am gaining HP. I decided to just go for a Swords Dance. Not really sure how he's going to touch me. Well, I guess he could go for the Psychic, but he decides to go for his Z move, Stoked Spark Surfer, which I'm actually able to live even with the crit, but he does paralyze me. I think it paralyzes every time, so it's not really hacks or anything. And then I'm able to finish him off with the Dragon Hammer, so Alolan Exeggutor able to get something down. And now Ribombee is going to come out, and he goes for the Quiver Dance, as I'm just going to get up a Leech Seed and start wearing this thing down. Put it on a timer, basically, so he's either going to have to switch out or it's going to eventually go down to Leech Seed. Switching my Torkoal, knowing I can take any kind of stab from this thing, as he just Quiver Dances once again. And then he goes for the Draining Kiss, which does literally 0. And I'm able to just pick him off with a Fire Blast. Doubt that crit even mattered because it's Torkoal in the sun and it's super effective. Now Mimikyu is going to come out, go for the Play Rough. I do resist that. I'm not sure if my opponent knew that or not, but I am going to get a free burn off on this Mimikyu essentially. The Disguise is still there though, so I need to play around that. Mudsdale I decided to go out to, and I get the defense boost, and then of course it's kind of, I don't know if he's going to be packing this or not, but he does end up having the Will-O-Wisp, which does kind of cripple my Mudsdale a little bit. Heavy Slam's going to break the disguise though, as he actually red cards me out back into Torkoal. And at this point, I don't really need my Torkoal for anything. I pretty much win with Tapu Lele or Lycanroc. Actually, not Tapu Lele, just Lycanroc. So I decided to just go for Shell Smash, see what I can do here. As he starts going for Destiny Bond, so now I need to play around this Destiny Bond because I don't want my Torkoal to just go down for no reason. So I decided to go for a bunch of Shell Smashes. I basically get up to maximum, and now I'm trying to catch him on a turn where he doesn't have Destiny Bond activated. So it fails there, so I see that. So I go for the Rapid Spin. I still don't outspeed him even at max. So he goes for the Destiny Bond there. I know he's going to get the Destiny Bond off, so I go for another Rapid Spin. And now I know here that he's going to go for either go for the Destiny Bond, it's not going to work, or he's going to go for an attack. So I decide there is my turn to go for the Fire Blast and take him out. And now he goes into Serena, and I actually outspeed this thing at max, so I don't know why he went into it. He should have gone to Salazzle right away, which he now does, and is going to be able to knock out my Torkoal with the Sludge Wave. And now I can go into my Mudsdale, and even though I am burned, I'm going to be able to break this balloon with the Heavy Slam, being able to, of course, take any hit from this thing, Sludge Wave or Fire Blast. Fire Blast will be doing more though because it's not resisted. If he had actually gone for 2 of those, he probably would have 2-KO'd me, but able to finish him off with an Earthquake. Even if he had taken out my Mudsdale, I did have No Guard, Stone Edge, Lycanroc in the back to clearly Ear Scarf as well to easily take out the Salazzle. So that is how that worked out. So that's more of a showcase of the team than just Alolan Exeggutor, but you do get a good example of how it works in certain situations. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like so that I know you guys want to see more content like this in the future. But other than that, keep dreaming. I'll see you next time. Peace out.